And how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Oopscast. Your
Oopscast.
co-host Kishan Desai, and
Grand crime, baby.
it's been a while, man. I feel like that's how every episode starts, man. With it's been a while.
Yeah, man, we finally accomplished our dreams of graduating from prominent institutions.
Yes, sir. Grant from Pepperdine, myself from UCLA. As you all see,
Mhm.
I also don't have the long hair anymore either, so that's like part of that new character arc.
Hey, man, changes come when you graduate. That's one of the
And
changes, bro.
that's the beautiful thing, man. That's the beauty of change, and that we see that in the NBA all the time because we
Exactly.
graduated and we are going to the professional lives. The next people we're about to talk about, aka the new NBA draft prospects, are about to leave their collegiate lifestyles and international lifestyles and come play professionally in the NBA. So today we're
Yep.
going to be talking about the NBA draft lottery, our takes, our comparisons, and who we think is going to get what pick. So let's just get right into it. Grant, start us off with the number one pick.
I mean, it's pretty obvious. Victor Wembanyama is gonna go to the Spurs. I'm like 102% sure. Not even
Mhm.
100%. I'm 102% sure. I mean, this guy's a freak of nature. He's 7'4". He's 19 years old. We obviously see what he's been doing for 3, 4 years now, since he's been getting media attention around the world, not even just in America nor France. Yeah, Spurs literally hit the lottery by getting this kid because this kid's gonna be changing their whole franchise. I
This
heard
is
they sold out their season tickets already. I don't know if you heard. I'm sure you heard.
mhm.
Uh, it's just
Yeah,
insane how they already sold out ticket. The fans, San Antonio have a lot of belief, and the front office, obviously, since they've been going crazy when they hit the number one lottery pick. But yeah, the way I see Victor Wendelboe, he reminds me of a lot of Ralph Sampson because, like Victor, Ralph was one of those more players at the time that was getting a lot of attention when he was projected to go number one. And again, like Victor, he's 7'4" and he was a phenomenon, one of the best NBA players in the league, and he's just changed the league as a whole like that too. So I definitely see the Spurs picking Victor most likely. That's what's gonna happen.
mhm.
Keyshawn, what are your thoughts?
Man, I don't even think there needs to be any thoughts on this just because it's a no-brainer pick. Victor is like one of those once in a lifetime generational talents that
Oh yeah.
spring up into he's like a Haley's Comet almost. I think the last time we got something like that of a generational talent, aside from like in more recent memory, probably would have been Luka Doncic, and even then he still has a long way to go. This kid
Yep.
also has a long way to go. I see him being like his predecessor, Tim Duncan. That's how I've seen him. And just the way he
Hmm.
plays and stuff. And funny enough, I don't know if you heard, but Popovich already made the call to Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker to come out in the summer to train him. And I think they are going to be out there in the summer training Victor. And
Yeah, no.
he's a just seeing him I mean, obviously talent wise he's the best player in this draft, but also just seeing his personality. He's a very mature kid. He really is he's presenting himself in a way where it's all business with him.
Yeah,
He's
no,
not
definitely.
he's
Definitely.
not cocky at all. He's showing his humility. And I'm
He knows
sure,
what he's capable of. He just knows what he's capable of doing at the end of the day.
yeah, no, 1,000%.
So
Like I said, uh-huh.
not only is he bringing his prominent skills, prolific skills more say for the San Antonio Spurs, but it's also that you brought up his humbleness with the league. And I feel like
Humility,
that's what's
yeah.
San Antonio mature because, dude, San Antonio is one of the most historical and one of the most respected organizations. And just putting this kid with that organization is just going to bolster their morality as a whole, just within the whole organization. I really like what they're building up there. And if they
No,
don't
a
pick,
1,000%. And they
and if they
already
don't,
got. Mhm.
yeah, if they
No,
don't
they.
pick Victor,
Okay.
if they
Yeah,
don't pick Victor, they don't deserve to have a team there.
bro. What's it called? What was I gonna say? Thing. Yeah, not only that, they also got good pieces to foundation, like a good foundation for Victor already. Like, what's the kid's name? Jeremy Sohan from Baylor. He's almost like this Dennis Rodman-esque player. He doesn't demand too much. He'll actually compliment Victor. I
Oh
think,
yeah.
look, real shit, man. I think San Antonio really has to ace this draft class, which is they can't screw it up any. They can't really screw up this draft class, you know. But also ace next year's class and get some good free agents surrounded by them, and they'll already be in playoff contention, you know.
Do you know who I know this we're just talking about our mock draft, but do you know who I think San Antonio should go after?
Who
Jaren Jackson Jr.
that would be a great pickup. I don't see him leaving the Spurs anytime soon. Or sorry, not Spurs, leaving the Grizzlies anytime soon.
Hey man, look what's going on in Memphis. John Moran's been dealing with a lot of crap. Obviously, we see what's going on in Memphis. There, it's obviously not working out. They're letting go of Dylan Brooks,
Yeah,
and yeah, the only reliable player is Desmond Bane, in my opinion. But he's just a above average role player, the way I view it. And I guess you can give it a year, but if not, putting the twin towers of Victor Wembanyama and Jaren Jackson, like no one's gonna score on them. Like legit, no one's gonna
not
score.
not at all. And real stuff. If they let's say because they have three picks next year, if
They can
they
use
can
that to compensate for
mhm.
Jaren Jackson.
Either that or if they want to go with the draft route, they can draft what's it called? What's that? I forget his name. He's like the 6'10", 6'9" guard from either Spain or Serbia. He's a European guard. I want them to go for him if they can
Oh,
also
for next year?
snag, huh? Yeah,
For
next
next
year
year?
because they have three lottery picks possibly.
Yeah,
And if they can also somehow snag DJ Wagner and Bronny James on top of that, all three of those players together, I think
yeah,
the Spurs will have the best foundation they've had in a minute.
absolutely.
Yeah. Now moving on to the number two pick, man. Charlotte's in a whole heap of their own thing. They're really confusing. I mean, you heard that there are rumors that that pick might get traded.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame them, honestly. It's
Mm-hmm.
they're still in a good position, although they were really close to getting Victor, but again, it is what it is.
But with that said, I think number two pick, man, it's a no brainer here. Brandon Miller to the Hornets. If the Hornets,
Brandon Miller.
yeah. Why? What do you think?
I was going for Scoot Henderson, to be honest.
Okay, can I give you my reasoning on why I
Oh,
wouldn't go
go ahead,
Scoot?
go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
so
ahead.
dude, the Hornets have a plethora of guards. That team is already so guard heavy. You don't need any. I don't think Scoot would just be wasted potential there. I'm like thinking they got LaMelo Ball, they got Terry Rozier. I'm trying to remember all the guards off the top of my head. I mean, Kelly Oubre is a small forward. James Bouknight was a guy they drafted. They have Cody Martin. They got Dennis Smith Jr. They have Theo Maladon, and they got Kobe Simmons. I don't think they need any more guards, man. Real shit. They can go for a good forward right now. I think Brandon Miller would be a better fit on that team. I get it that they have Kelly Oubre and Gordon Hayward,
They're
and
getting
even
Miles
PJ.
Bridges back. Just keep in mind, they're
They're
getting
getting
Miles
Miles
Bridges
Bridges
back.
back, and they also have PJ Washington too. I would say
Exactly.
trade some of those guys away. That's what I would tell the Hornets. So you could have
Hey,
Brandon Miller and start out. Yeah,
can I just add something? Can I
let's
just
go
add
for it.
something? Dude, just imagine putting LaMelo Ball and Scoot Henderson together. I would get rid of Terry Rozier. I would get rid of Gordon Hayward. I would get rid of so many players just to team up Scoot and LaMelo. Because that could be one of the most deadliest guard duos in history. And the way I see Scoot Henderson is he's like a combination of Derrick Rose and John Morant. Just that
Mm.
explosive, just like with that shooting. I feel like he can tear it up with LaMelo Ball. And I see also Donovan Mitchell in them too. Just
Yeah, okay. I had a feeling you'd say that.
explosiveness in that. Yeah, exactly. So
For me, on the other hand, I see Brandon Miller being that thing, Danny Granger, Paul George type of player for the Hornets. I think he would
right.
like bring that two-way, like offensive, defensive prowess to both sides of the ball. And
Yeah.
that team. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still think the Hornets should just trade away that pick. But if they are going to keep it and they're going to use to draft someone with it, I say you draft Brandon Miller.
I don't know. I would go with Scoot Henderson personally.
Okay.
Just adding LaMelo Ball and Scoot Henderson is just it's gonna be very scary nights for the teams, especially in the Southeast Division, since they're gonna be
Mhm.
seeing them more often. And I would go on the trade to Terry Rozier since they're not gonna be rebuilding with them, obviously, nor going on with the rest of the guards. With James Bouknight, obviously, he had that incident with the
Mhm.
gun, with the munchies and the weed and shit in the car.
Man, NBA players and their incidents right now with gun munchies and
Yeah, they're just not mature. It's sad, bro, but they're just not mature enough. They haven't grown up yet to realize what are the flaws are with doing those types of actions and activities. You understand what
Uh,
I mean?
no, 100%. With that, Grant, open us up with number three, the Blazers.
I'm going with Brandon Miller for this one.
Mm-hmm.
And
I had a feeling.
he does have that he does play like Paul George similarly. And I do also see that in him too, with his athleticism, with his length, with his height. And he's a very good shooter too.
Right. Now, I'm going with Scoot on this one. And I have another
Good.
whole I have my reasoning behind that one too. Hold up. And like you said, he is that John Morant, Russell Westbrook for me. Like John Morant and Westbrook athletic type guard, explosive. I'm talking prime Westbrook,
Oh
And
man,
hold on. I got some decent reasoning on this one. I think, either A, if they're gonna go with this route, I think Scoot gets drafted by the Blazers, but he gets traded to the Clippers for Paul George. Because I don't know if you're hearing right now that Paul George is like they're testing the waters on the market with Paul George, and the Blazers are currently the ones
they trade
talking.
they need to
Huh?
trade Kawhi away. I don't know what they're doing with why they're trading Paul George away. They need to trade Kawhi away.
They should, but I think they should just blow up that team. Period. I think the Clippers need a rebuild right now.
Facts. I agree with you. I'm not even a Clipper fan, but I've been to
Yeah.
the last two games. They're just not it.
Um, but let's say they still draft Scoot, but they don't trade for Paul George, right?
Yeah.
The next best thing is that's the best way to get Damian out of that team because Damian needs to get the fuck out of the Blazers.
Yeah. I'm sick of hearing those news saying he's going, he's saying he's going. Like they need to stop doing that. The guy,
Just trade him, man. Just trade him.
yeah,
Or they were
just
doing the
trade
same thing
him.
with Bradley Beal too, and we'll cover the Bradley Beal stuff in a bit. But for now, yeah, no, it just and we'll cover more of that Dame stuff too. But I think number three, Blazers take Scoot Henderson.
Fair enough. I mean, although you have Damian and Anfernee Simons, I guess if they do trade Damian, they could pair him up with Anfernee because I really like Anfernee too.
And
Since his
Fernie's a good player, yeah.
since his IMG times, he was really nice.
Yeah. All right,
Number
Grant. Number four, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jarris Walker.
Ooh, okay.
And because obviously they got who? They got Kevin Porter Jr., they got Jalen Green. They don't really need any more guards at this point. They got
Hmm.
their backups too. So I would go with Jarris Walker. They do need that forward because they can pair him up with Jabari Smith along with Alfred Şengün, the Turkiye special player. And what I mean by special, that he's just a very special talent that Turkey. They didn't have like any of those special talents in a very long time. Since that one player from the Orlando Magic.
Turkoglu.
Yeah, I he was a really good player at the time. He was also really special at the time. With Enes Kanter, he was really good, but I don't think he ever lived up to that hype, if that makes any sense.
No, 1,000%. No, I agree with you. Yeah, Ennis Cantor, third pick, that was not worth it, man. 'Cause,
Yeah,
he was drafted with the third pick by the Jazz.
no, definitely. And yeah, just going back to Jarris Walker, he very similar to with Tim Thomas. They're both 6'10". They're both very athletic. They do make a big impact. Also, one of the weaknesses though that I've noticed from Jarris Walker in college was his leadership role. I feel like he does need to step up a little bit within that if he wants to roll in with the Rockets, because obviously leadership does lead to success. Although
Hmm.
his defense is there, athleticism is almost to perfection. The size, the strength, everything is literally there. The passing, he just needs to work on that leadership role because his leadership strength. Once he does get to that, though, he's going to be one of the best players in the league. I have high
Now,
hopes for the kid.
now, I, on the other hand, have another player in mind. I know we're talking about no guards for this, but I think there is a guard that could be the perfect fit next to Jalen Green. Enter Thompson twin number one. Amen. I'm talking about Amen Thompson. Thompson, he is like what Sean Livingston was early on in his career.
Sean Goat.
Yeah, no. Amen Thompson, he's been a phenomenal college player.
Oh, he's really good.
He's really good, man. Both him and his brother, which we'll get to in a second. I think Amen would be a great fit next to thing Jalen Green because
What do you do
Jalen Green.
with Kevin Porter though? Let me ask you this.
Kevin Porter is he's a bona fide six man, bro. I don't think he's a starter. For
What? No, I really
yeah,
like Kevin Porter though. I
I
really
like
he
Kevin
did
Porter too. Hey, man, I like Kevin Porter. Either you trade him if you want to start him, you trade him somewhere else. But I don't know if there are any teams that have like the capacity to start. Maybe Utah. But I don't see him fitting in Utah.
right.
But I think he's better off as like a sixth man type role because I feel like don't get me wrong, as a starter he flourishes, but I've seen on the bench he flourishes more.
Right.
That's why I'm not like willing to boot him. Now I know the Rockets are in talks of getting James Harden back, so that's already another whole like thing, that's happening there.
I would use that pick, or sorry, I would use Kevin Porter Jr. and several other picks to acquire James Harden because I know, like you said,
Well, Jay,
he
but
does
then
want to go
Jay,
back,
but the thing is, James Harden's a free agent,
but they can sign and trade him. Those are from the sources that I heard.
the
To
Sixers doing a sign and trade.
yeah, because that's just really prevalent for the past 3 years in terms of like trade and sign and trade. Because
Yeah,
I don't think
that's
they're
true.
gonna let him walk away like that.
They want to get some value out of him. Yeah, no.
Exactly. Just get something out of him.
I could see, Kevin Porter being good in the Sixer system too. He would be a. But only
He's
thing
got
is
that.
that's a guard. It's a guard heavy system there too because they got what's it called Tyrese Maxey. They got
Yeah.
what's his name? I don't think he's playing anymore though. What's that defensive guy's name who was like playing on that team? Matisse Thybulle. He's not even on that team, right?
I think he got traded.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, to
Okay.
Portland.
Yeah, he was.
To
Yeah,
Portland.
yeah, he did get traded to Portland. Yeah,
I
you're
was trying
right.
to figure out where my boy go. He was playing somewhere in the West, not in Sixers for sure.
Yeah, but
But
think.
yeah, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say either that, and if somehow I don't think the Rockets are gonna get finessed like that, but if the Sixers can manage to trade for that fifth pick for Harden, Amon Thompson on the Sixers too. Like just looking at it both ways, I think Amon's gonna stick on the Rockets, bro. But let's say hypothetically speaking, if he was on the Sixers, that would be
Yeah.
best case scenario for him personally, because he's on a win now situation. Now
Right
it's
on, dude.
huh?
Right on, dude.
Right on, dude.
I
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think aim to the Rockets, bro.
don't know, because again, I think they have a lot of trust in those two guards. I feel like that's why for me the safe pick would be Jarris Walker. And I feel
Hmm.
like he can grow with them a lot in order to potentially become one of the more better teams in the
Right.
NBA.
All
But
right.
let's move on
Pick
to the fifth
pick
pick.
number five, Grand. Who do you got? Who you got on the fifth pick for the Pistons,
Oh man,
bro?
this player reminds me a lot of Pascal Siakam. I'm gonna go with Taylor Hendricks.
Ooh, okay, okay.
I thought about it. Do they need to go for more guards? They don't. They got Cade Cunningham. They got Jaden Ivey. I know he was on your fantasy team. He balled
Both of
out.
them. Both of them.
Well, no, Cade's really good. It's just he got injured. I feel like
Yeah,
that's
I'm
why.
saying both of them were on my fantasy team. You're
Yeah.
giving me you're
Oh
giving me some
yeah, that's
sad
right.
memories. Yeah.
Yeah, just looking at Taylor Hendricks, he can basically do everything. His athleticism is there. His size, the defense is awesome, which could be very helpful with Monty Williams' system and for Detroit in general. His quickness is obviously really vital. And most of all, the way I when I see Taylor Hendricks, I see a lot of potential in this kid. I feel like he can just dominate with James Wiseman, with Jaden Ivey, and most importantly with Cade Cunningham. They're building up something really special down in D Town, the Motor
No,
City.
1,000%. Now I got another power forward in mind though that you just named like a few seconds ago for what's it called the Rockets. I actually have Jarris Walker going to the Pistons.
That could honestly work out too,
Mhm.
just by the fact that they both play very similarly.
I see but Jarris Walker being like that, what's it called? Paul Millsap type player. That's how I see him, like, playing out on that Pistons team.
Right,
Now,
right.
it's a shock to many Pistons fans because, the Pistons were supposed to get the number one pick. They were like top three there, sitting there for the number one pick. No one expected the Blazers to jump up the way they did.
Yeah,
With that said, though, it's like they still got a top five pick. I think with that top five pick, they take what's it called? Jarris Walker. He'll be good next to Jalen Duren, next to Cade Cunningham, and what's it called? Jaden Ivey. They don't need any more guards. They're pretty guard heavy. And
Right.
then in terms of their bigs too, they're pretty big heavy too. So that if they get someone like Jarris Walker, the question is like, what's going to happen to Marvin Bagley? What's going to happen to Beef Stew? What's going to happen to what's it called? James
Man, beats
Wiseman.
too. He's already lived. Ever since he moved to Detroit, he's been starting fights and skirmishes and beefs with people, especially
Yeah.
LeBron.
Now there is talks that Beef Stew might go to Boston, but we'll get to that like in the other video, you know.
Right.
But I think Jarris Walker is just a perfect pick for the Pistons. Real shit.
It could work out for them. I can see that happening too. But Taylor Hendricks is really nice. And just having someone who, again, plays similarly like Pascal Siakam, it could be really dangerous for other teams to go up against them since they just
Right.
have a lot of big, since they're like all big, athletically speaking, and they can all shoot. That's what makes them really scary. And especially with the prolific coach like Monty Williams, is already taking Suns to
That
the
there we go.
final.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, that Monty Williams is at the helm of it all. So
You already know the vibes.
all right, and now we go on to pick six, which is the Orlando Magic. Now, again, I got a player that you just talked about this time for the Orlando Magic. I got Taylor Hendricks going to the Orlando Magic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She.
Now, their last year's pick, Franz Wagner, was a success. That was a great, great pick. You know,
Yeah, definitely.
underrated pick for first round. Not enough people talk about it. Now, with that said, it's the question is how do they move forward? I thought about putting Eamon Thompson there, real shit, but they already got Jalen Suggs. They already, I mean, even though Markel Fultz is not that good, they already got him. They got Cole Anthony. They got a plethora of guards, in my opinion. You know, they don't need any more guards. They need some
Man,
forward play, and I think Taylor
yeah,
Hendricks is the guy that goes there. He'd be like the Antoine Jameson type, you know? Well, actually,
right.
hold on. Just a hold. I just got a Bleacher report that they may Magic could be shopping Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs.
Are you serious?
So there you go. That
Man,
puts up one.
cool.
That puts up wonder in my whole argument.
See, now do you know who I went with for the number six pick for
Eamon Thompson,
Orlando?
I assume.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
Man, see how life's just interesting. Like, see how the tables just turned. Because I
He
was
picked
gonna talk
second.
about. Do you know what I was gonna say? As
That
do
they
you know
might
why I was
trade.
gonna
That
put him
they're
in
going to trade possibly Cole Anthony or what's it called, Jalen Suggs.
Jalen Suggs?
Yeah.
There you go. Because the experience hasn't been the best with him. Suggs is an amazing player, one of the best young players, but I don't think that experiment is very much going well in Orlando. And with Amen, he has a lot more potential. He reminds me a lot
Now,
of Sprewell.
real shit though. If they do pick between two guards, you know, let's say they go with Eamon Thompson, I say you shop Cole Anthony and keep Jalen Suggs. Play them next to each other. You got two big guards right there playing off of each other.
You wouldn't go with Cole Anthony and Amen? I feel like they would be really nice and aggressive duo. I think that's what Orlando
They
needs.
could they could be. Now
Yeah.
we're again we could talk about the trades, you know, and stuff like if we were to trade Jalen Suggs, you know, where would you trade him though? That's the other thing.
You can take him to OKC. Pair him up with Chet, his old Gonzaga buddy.
And Shea
And Shea.
and Josh Giddey, but that okay, Suggs would be a six man on that team. Real stuff.
You could put no, I you don't need to put him as six man.
I know you're gonna say
You
Giddy
put
at small forward.
no, you put Giddy at the one, you put Suggs at the two, Shea at the three, you
I don't know about that. I don't know about
you
that.
put you put Chet at the four, and you go with Jalen Williams. Or if people be patient and keep watching
Well,
our
yeah. We're
podcast
gonna,
to the
yeah,
end,
well, yeah. Let's not
gonna
spoil
we're
that.
gonna
Yeah,
get into it.
let's not spoil that because I already
Exactly.
know which one. I think we both have the same pick for that. But yeah. So yeah,
Exactly. Well, let's get into it. Let's go to number seven.
number seven is the Pacers, man, and I got the other Thompson twin, Alsar.
No way, me too.
Yeah, no, Alsar is the more athletic brother. You know, he's the hyper player. You know, between the two, he's like a Jason Richardson type player. You know,
Yeah, no,
all
definitely.
he'd be great next to Tyrese Halliburton. I don't know if there's anything more need to be said. I think Alstar Thompson is the perfect player for that Pacers squad.
No, this kid he's got a lot of potential. Like the other draftees that I had, his size is there, the athleticism is also there too. I feel like he does need to work on a little bit on his jump shot. What I noticed during his time when he was playing with Overtime Elite, I think he does need to work on a little, along with the ball handling skills and the
Yeah,
passing. I feel like this kid's still ready. He'll be really nice with Indiana, like you said, with Tyrese Halliburton. And if they do keep Buddy Hield around, they could be one of the most underrated teams if they grow this kid in the proper
exactly. They
mature.
develop him right, and on top of that, Indiana's currently about to shop what's it called, Miles Turner and Buddy Hield, because
Lakers.
man, Grant bit on his knees for Rob Pelinka to just get Miles Turner.
Please, we need a center.
No, bro, but real stuff because they're trying to develop Jalen Smith, who was phenomenal for the Pacers. Putting up great numbers for them.
He was on the Suns before they traded him.
Yeah, he was on the Suns. He was drafted by he was no shit like a lottery pick that went so unnoticed after his first few years.
Yeah.
But on the Pacers though, he's good. He's been good on the Pacers, and I like
Oh,
that fit.
absolutely, pal. Absolutely,
Yeah.
pal.
Anything you
Oh,
want to
no,
add about Alsar?
what happened?
Is there anything else you want to add about Alsar? Or
Alsari, honestly, I just want to add one thing. Like when I saw
Mhm.
him play, he reminds me a lot of Trevor Ariza, but I feel like he does have a lot of potential to be better than him overall. Just like with the shooting, with his defense and the rest of the other skills that Trevor Ariza has worked on and accomplished. It's like very similar to the way he played at the moment. But obviously, the kid has a lot of he's just beginning his career. He could obviously become way better than Trevor Ariza, but the way he plays as of right now, I see a lot of Trevor Ariza in him. But again, he could upgrade, which
all
we'll
right.
find out.
So we're on pick number 8, Grant. Who we have pick number 8 for Washington?
Well, Washington, well, obviously, it's reported that Porzingis is getting traded. So what that means is they're
It's
rebuilding.
it's already been done. Which let's save that.
Done?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
been done.
for
Save
sure.
it for yeah. We got to save that. I don't want to get into it. I have a lot of
Definitely.
thoughts
No,
about that. Yeah,
no,
I
no.
have a lot of
I'll
thoughts.
just, I just want to let the audience know that since that's happening, they're going to go with rebuild. I'm going to go with the top available player. I'm going with Anthony Black.
What? I said I also saying Anthony Black too. I'm also saying Anthony Black.
Yeah.
Let's go, dude. And tell me that your player comp. I believe we're about to have the same player comp too. Josh Giddey.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. He's like a more athletic, more bouncy Josh Giddey is what he is, bro. And
exactly. Just
he would be
his
perfect for
size.
the Wizards. He would be
Oh
perfect
yeah,
for the Wizards.
again, because they're rebuilding, they don't really need to go after all stars. At this point, they just need to get all the best players from the draft and just start rebuilding from there. Because with that squad like last year, or even for the past 2 years, they haven't been really accomplishing anything. There's
I
just no
think
point.
last time they had this dominant of a guard, on their squad was what's his name? John Wall,
Yeah, John Wall, man.
And
The guy
John
just
Wall was an amazing, amazing talent. He dude was just out of this world. It's sad that his career derailed the way it did, especially with all the injuries and stuff. So hopefully, Washington's like health staff and stuff, like
yeah,
takes care of Anthony Black in this game.
definitely.
All
But going
right.
back to
Mhm.
Anthony Black though, when I see this kid, he does have that size. The defense, he was outstanding with Arkansas. I don't know if you watched his games, but this kid was
I watched
phenomenal.
I watched a game of him. Yeah,
Yeah, this kid was just all over the place on both on the offensive and defensive side. The quickness is there. The jump shot, I feel like does need some work, but he's just barely getting drafted. I'm sure the Wizards coaching staff is gonna help him shape up his jump shot to a whole different level.
he's a raw talent. They said the same thing about Darius Garland too. That he
Oh
needs to
yeah,
work on his jump shot. He needs to work on a little bit of his ball handling, and they need to like make sure that his health is all right because Darius Garland came in injured in that draft. I remember. But look at him now.
yeah.
Darius Garland's like dominating like his class, and they said the same thing about Josh Giddey too. That he's like just a raw talent. He has more downside than upside. But Josh Giddey is like one of the best guards in the league right now.
Oh, absolutely, pal.
All right. Don't tell me for Utah. I have a feeling we're about to have the same pick for Utah too. We're going with the
Can
white
I
boy,
guess?
right?
Yes, adjacent to Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, Grady Dick.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I,
dude. Something about white players going to Utah, huh? First Gordon
I
Hayward.
was just gonna
Then
mention that. I
then
was
they
just
had
gonna mention
what's his
that.
name too? Walker Kessler,
Yep,
who
yep.
has been actually like one of the best bigs this year. You know, just saying.
Walker Kessler was nice.
He was nice, and they got a future going with him and Larry Markkinen. You know,
I heard they might trade Lonnie, or sorry, Laurie Markin. I was about to say Lonnie Walker, Laurie Markin, and I heard they might trade him
where do you
because they
think
can't.
you?
I don't think they're gonna afford his contract since he balled out big time this year.
Mm. So they're eating signing trade.
Yep, but we're gonna obviously get into that in another video. But I just wanted to mention those since they're probably gonna be losing market, and I feel like they're gonna be going after Grady Dick. Not only does he play like Gordon Hayward and how successful his tenure has become with for Jazz for several years.
Thousand
But
percent.
since they're going to
Mhm.
rebuild mode, this is one of the more logical picks, and this kid's
I
been getting a lot of hype for the right reasons.
I have another player comp actually for him. I have Reggie Miller being like a ceiling player comp for him.
Reggie Miller,
Yeah,
wow,
because Grady Dick. Yeah, I was about to call him Brady. Grady Dick is like what's it called? He's a pure shooter, dude. That dude is
yeah,
good. Yeah, I think he'll fit in seamlessly. Now the question is, what will they do with Colin Sexton and stuff? You know,
I'm sure they'll
which
trade him away,
they'll
or
trade
they'll
him
let him walk.
away. Exactly. But I think Grady Dick to Utah, man. And I know Utah has two picks in this draft. They got the 16th and the 9th, you know?
Yeah, and I just wanted to add one more thing about Grady Dick is
Uh-huh.
just look, unlike Anthony Black with Grady Dick, he has one of the best jump shots in this upcoming
Oh,
draft.
thousand
It's
percent.
And I feel like that's what obviously helps him with his scoring and with his confidence and just shooting for Kansas all around during his freshman year. So I feel like that's what's gonna help him become more prominent, to become more accelerating within the league this year and as several years.
He's pretty much the Josh Giddey of this class in the sense that like, you know, his hype started around like closer to the draft lottery, you know? That
Yeah,
that, that his hype because like Josh Giddey, you know, Grady Dick kind of went under the radar, if not like true college basketball fans knew who he was. But then around as the draft lottery and then as the draft itself got closer and closer, the hype for him got so close that he's now sitting as a potential lottery pick. You know?
right.
Yeah. All right. What's the next pick? It's the 10th pick, right? With the Mavericks, man. Geez, the Mavericks
Yep.
have been so disappointing, man.
Yeah.
Went from conference finals appearance to not even in the playoffs, man. So they got a
Not
lot
even in the
to
play-in. Not even in the
not even in the
play-in.
play in, just not playoffs. No.
Nothing in general.
So Grant, who do you got the Mavs taking?
Well, before I get to my pick, I just want to add one quick thing. One of
What's up?
I think the main reason why they were just trash all around is or actually two reasons. One, Kyrie Irving. Obviously, since he came in, their playbook, everything got dismantled. None of their plays were going with him and Doncic. But I feel like they do need a lot of time. And the second reason is their defense. It was just horrendous. Like it was absolutely one of the worst defenses I've seen for Dallas this year. And the player that I do truly believe that will be drafted and will help Dallas Mavericks is Cason Wallace.
Ooh, Kaysen Wallace.
He's a Dallas boy,
Yeah.
and he's from Dallas too. So I feel like this is the perfect pick. He'll be in his hometown. Obviously, he's used to the air, used to everything, Mavericks culture. And again, the biggest reason why he's gonna be a lottery pick is just his defense. He's just gonna
This,
help all around with containing the opponent's scoring least points as possible.
this is where we go back to having different mindsets on players because I think they're going to go Euro again in this case. I think they're going to go with Victor's teammate, Bilal Koulibaly. Now,
Ooh,
Bilal Koulibaly is this extremely athletic wing, raw sense of potential right there, you know? And
yeah.
obviously, he was a little overshadowed because his teammate is currently like the new unicorn of this class, you know?
You know,
Mm-hmm.
you, you brought up Bilal Koulibaly, and since you mentioned about him being shadowed, there's another player of mine that was overly shadowed even before getting drafted, and he's now considered one of the most underrated raw talents. And then I feel like it's OG Anunoby.
Yes, he reminds me a lot of OG Ananobi, and also like a smaller. He's like a baby Giannis almost. The Bilal kid. That's how he really plays.
Oh wow.
And yeah, I'm going with that. That's like my crazy take, but I feel like because he's raw and he's athletic, he'd be perfect next to Luka Doncic.
Right.
I think Luka needs guys like that. Some slashers and some shooters. Around him. And obviously, the Kyrie experiment failed. Really, when you had Jalen Brunson and when you had Spencer Dinwiddie, that was working out just fine.
Yeah.
This, I think, would be a good start for that. Bring Bilal on that team, bring another European guy on that team. I mean, though, even though they've already done that with Kristaps, who we're going to get to later on. I think.
I think both picks could fit in
Mhm.
like for the team. Like it would obviously work out. But yeah, as I was saying about Bilal, I think he would be a pretty good fit for Dallas. Just like you said about the athleticism and just his potential overall could help Luca's team just overall push their way up to maybe the conference finals or maybe to long-term success if obviously Doncic decides to sit back with Dallas or he moves to Denver to play with
Mhm.
Jokic. Again,
Yeah, dude.
none of us know, but that could be the case. But I do really like Wallace just because of his defense. And I feel like it could help Dallas relax more. Or not relax more, but it could help them a lot on the defensive end. It could give
All
them a
right.
chance to work more offensively since they're
Right.
taking less points.
Okay, number 11 is the Orlando Magic again. This time they have a pick from the Bulls, man. So that good for Orlando. They got two lottery picks again. I think this is the second time it's happened in their draft where they had two lottery picks, right?
Yep. Shout out to Vucevic.
Shout out to Vucevic, man. Now, this is where I go with the guard now, okay? And I'm going with the guard that's been recently getting a lot of hype as of late. Okay, I'm going with Cam Whitmore.
Wait, are you joking?
No, I'm not joking. Why?
Because I picked him too for this
No way.
from Villanova.
I think Cam Whitmore. So this is where my mindset was that if they get Taylor Hendricks, they get Taylor Hendricks and they get a guard in Cam Whitmore.
Oh yeah.
Now I think now that we got an idea, like I said, I showed you that notification that they might be trading away either Cole Anthony or what you call it, Jalen Suggs. I feel like you put Cam Whitmore next to either of them,
Yeah.
it'd be a fire duo.
But even if they don't trade both of them,
Mm-hmm.
since Cam Whitmore's 6'7", and his athleticism is and his strength is obviously his main strength, just overall as a player, you can slide him up to the small forward position too, if they don't even trade him at all. And I feel like it
Okay,
could work out with that team.
but then hold up, you got Franz Wagner at small forward.
You could play him at power forward. You can switch.
Okay,
You can even switch things up. Put Whitmore at power forward.
I would really want to play Whitmore at the one or the two, though. I think at the two, I want to run a big lineup with this team. So what I'm thinking is, if let's say they trade away Cole Anthony, this is why I was saying trade Cole Anthony away. You put Jalen at the one, Cam Whitmore at the two, France at the three, Taylor Hendricks at the four, and then I would assume they're still gonna roll with Wendell at the five.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
pretty sizable lineup. They'd be pulling like almost a Milwaukee slash Denver type lineup.
yeah. That can honestly work out. Just placing him at those specific positions. Although
Yeah.
I think Whitmore would dominate best in the small forward position.
Right. Now, number 12 is OKC. This is why we were getting excited earlier.
Yes.
We're talking about the Duke big man right here, Derek Lively the second. I already had a feeling that's who you're going for too.
Yup. They do need a center, and
They do.
this kid's 7'1". He's a
Mhm.
beast. He's a monster.
Now we saw Chet, who is dominantly a center, and I'm wishing him a speedy return because I do want to. Chet's like one of my favorite guys from last year's draft, and I want to
Oh
see him
yeah.
ball out.
Yeah, there's reports that he should be fully ready to go for the league
hmm
next
And I like
season.
his confidence too. He's a cocky kid. He has the personality of a Duke player, but went to Gonzaga instead. But you know what, man? I think Chet and Derek Lively. That could be a crazy good front court for the OKC.
No, definitely, because as I mentioned, they do need a center, and just putting him at that position is just gonna help bolster the team's potential to like another level. Just having Shea and Chad and even the Jalen Williams, just having all
Yeah.
those players, like their experiment worked out. Like they got into the play, and I didn't even expect them to even get, I don't know, 11th seed or 12th seed. I thought they were gonna be in dead last, but this team obviously proved a lot of people like me wrong.
No, 1,000%. And on top of that, I think Derek Lively just he fits. He's like a almost Jackson Hayes-ish. Trying to think of there's another player I mentioned,
Willie
Willie Cauley
Stein.
Stein. Yeah, like college Willie Cauley. I'm not even saying like what's it called, like current Willie. I'm talking college Willie Cauley Stein because if you remember Willie Cauley Stein and when he played for Kentucky, bro, he was a monster next to Cat. You know, I could see a similar thing happening here in OKC.
Definitely.
All right, and then the 13th pick for the Raptors, Grant. Who do you have?
I'm gonna go with the adjacent player of OG Anunoby, Bilal Coulibaly. Because
Ooh,
what's
okay,
it doesn't get any better than having more than one OG Anunobys. Is
three of them.
that what I
Because
did there?
yeah,
Honestly, just putting him and OG together is obviously gonna make one of the best defensive duos in the league. And I think that'll help out Toronto a lot, especially since they're gonna be losing Van Vliet most likely in
yeah.
the off.
They also got that other kid too. I'm already forgetting Scotty Scotty Barnes,
Scotty
bro.
Barnes, yeah. Kid's a monster.
He had a down season, but yeah, he's a monster. I actually don't have Bilal there. Obviously, I have him against the Mavs. I got Jalen Hood I forgot it. Shafino. Yeah, there we go. Jalen Hood Shafino for the
Oh wow.
reason. And my reasoning is because Fred Van Vliet might leave. So I feel like they draft a guard here at this rate, you know?
Okay.
And it looks like they're also going in rebuild mode because there's talks about Pascal getting traded. There's, you know, their star players are looking like they're going to leave right now. So Jalen Hood-Schifino, I feel like, would be the perfect guy on that squad. And he's like this Deron Williams type player, too. So, you know, really, it'd be good. Yeah.
That could honestly work out too. Although, me personally, I really like the OG Anunoby throughout the years as a player, especially on I like how well defensive minded he is on the court. And just having someone like Bilal Coulibaly also on the court, just helping them grow together, will make Toronto one of those teams that's just gonna put a lot of fear into
No,
those
thousand
opponents. Just
percent.
knowing like how are we gonna score on these players? Like what are the specific types of tactics that are we're gonna align with within our organization to make sure that we score on Toronto in general.
All right, and then that leads us to the final pick of the lottery, the New Orleans Pelicans. Man, they're in a whole heap of their own shit too, bro. But
With Zion
what?
and dude's a freak. Dude's a
Oh
freak.
man! Also, shout out Bruce Brown, bro. We'll get.
Yeah. He could be
We'll,
missing piece to a mystery type controversy.
yeah, and I think okay, we might possibly have the same player. I feel like right, maybe because I
I
for
got
Pelican
Kobe Buffkin.
same. There we go. Yeah, I got Kobe Buffkin too. Yeah, Kobe.
Yeah, bro. They're like, Kobe. His first name's Kobe. Yeah, we should give him a try.
Not there's a specific reason why I think
Oh
Kobe
yeah,
Buffkin would work so well because everywhere around you see his player comparison has actually been CJ McCollum. And who's on the New Orleans Pelicans?
really?
Yeah, CJ
I
McCollum. I feel like he'd be the perfect mentor to Kobe also.
That's interesting. I had Jordan Poole as a player comparison, just due to his shooting and his craftiness. Although he's a bit inconsistent, like Poole has been this year from since he was playing in Michigan, he's just been a little inconsistent. But I feel
Uh,
like he has a lot. He can still prove that he could be one of those great young shooters that comes out of the draft. And I feel like
real question though, is Kobe Buffkin a player like Jordan Poole with the ladies? You know?
well, what was that?
I said, is Kobe Buffkin a player like Jordan Poole with the ladies though?
I don't know. We'll find out in the summer league.
We'll find out summer league, baby. But yeah,
Whatever. What
that
happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. With that
Yeah.
being said, guys, that's the NBA draft, the lottery. You know, we're not going to go into the whole draft, obviously, but that that's something that we'll cover as the draft like finishes. We'll let you know like our sleeper picks, what we thought was overrated, underrated. Yeah, Grant, anything you want to add?
I just want to say we're less than 24 hours away from the draft, and I'm just really happy to get this episode going because I know it's been a cool minute, but obviously we now graduated from our respected institutions. Now we'll have a lot more time to develop content within the
Mm-hmm.
NBA with Oopscast. Yeah,
We
guys,
miss doing this. Yeah, we miss doing this.
definitely. You guys will
Yeah.
see us a lot more. We've been still busy with Instagram with updating you guys with news like Bradley Beal with the Phoenix Suns trade, which is still kind of shocking. I don't know what they're thinking with doing that draft, but or the
And
trade.
we're actually about to get
We're
into
gonna
that.
cover that.
Yeah.
We're gonna cover that really soon. So make sure to stay tuned with that episode. And yeah, guys, like I said, the draft's in less than 24 hours. We'll see how it goes.
All right. With that being said, this is your co-host Keyshawn Desai
This is your other co-host, Grant Ryan.
signing out.